a continuation of last episode that didn't air.
Okay, we are live now, and I will share
My
the link.
device for creating the spools with a drill.
Most immediate item next to me is a tape measure. So whatever we can do with that.
I've got a TV remote, so what a move. This is like one of those Wiimote TV remotes, so...
I think I already showed the other one. It's just the speaker and then the soldering mat. It's like magnetic. But I've yet to unsolder anything. I need to take apart my broken amplifier. I want to get the speaker out of it.
Oh god, I didn't think this through. Alright, Pablo.
You're missing out on all this content here.
Oh my gosh, riveting. Technical difficulty. Oh gosh. My screen
the audience would be hanging off my every word.
Okay, so not only technical difficulties, but my preview of the screen is like freaking out, but it's fine on the live stream preview. I really wish I could share this with the world.
And then you're texting me twice. You're like, "You ready, son? You ready, son?"
Oh, no, I only sent you once.
I was spending time with my mother.
Oh god, mistakes. I'm gonna send you Pablo, I'm gonna send you a Steam message. Can you post in the Discord? Because the way I'm streaming this is jank AF.
Do you want me to post the link to the Discord?
Yes,
I can.
because I can't open another Discord window. Also, this is like the trippiest shit I've ever seen in my life. Like, this might be my graphics card freaking out. I might need to update my drivers.
Alex calls in and he's like, "We're waiting."
Yeah,
Where's your show, Hardy? You promised us a show.
Send this in.
You're already late.
Oh god. Jeez.
We're getting the warm up. We're getting it. We're
building rapport.
Okay, good. My preview reset itself when I minimize and open the window again, so we're good.
Mongolian throat singing.
Hello.
You.
Are you didgeridooing over here?
Maybe.
What a...
It's not quite the didgeridoo. I'm trying to figure out what that throat croaking thing is, because I'm pretty sure it's used for that like thing where they're going like bam. You know when they do that fucking sound like they're fucking like...
Pablo saw the Beans TikTok and he's like, I want to make these.
I just found the sound, how to make it. Now I can't do it anymore. I gotta think about it. But I can't do it anymore. There's something wrong in my throat that's not letting me do it again. But if I can croak loud enough,
so
I can.
I think Pablo, have you posted the link everywhere?
Where should I put? Wait.
Put it in Geeked and put it in the other. Just give it to Alex. Alex, I request that you post this somewhere else. You know where. I know Alex is here.
I'm gonna post it in the Geeked.
It's because Pablo left a Discord that we were previously on. Anyways, welcome to Enter the Zeitgeist number 13, or I would like to call it 13 and a half, because Pablo and I recorded an episode 13 previously, but Pablo was muted the whole time. Make sure, can everyone hear Pablo and Pam? I think you should be able to this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna speak this as a test. Speaking Pablo voice.
Pam's voice.
But yes, below us is our friend Pam. Pam actually works with me. Spoilers. And we're actually in the same building right now, so that's pretty cool. And then here's Pablo over here. What a beautiful boy.
Hey again. I'm not in the same building. I don't work with either of these people.
Yeah, too bad.
Who are you people?
Yeah, so Pam, you got your vaccine today, correct?
I did get my vaccine today. It was great. It's right here. Everything didn't take off the Band-Aid yet, or nothing.
Have your feelings towards Microsoft changed at all?
After getting the vaccine?
Any thoughts on Microsoft Edge?
I think I like Microsoft more now. I want to donate to a water charity. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's coming.
Oh, man,
I mean, since working in tech, I have even more of a disdain for Microsoft. That's what you're asking.
I don't think Microsoft's that bad.
Company does it perfectly. Yeah, I mean, like, they're doing their best.
They just have to provide email and like office services for everyone.
Pretty much every major organization.
Oh man, a lot could go wrong there.
But yes, I'm a Johnson and Johnson boy, so all these
Mhm.
all
I'll
these
get my Pfizer one tomorrow.
all these memers can call me inferior. So for getting the
I'm
worst
all
vaccine,
vaxxed up.
but I think it's fine.
I don't know if it's necessarily worse, but
All right,
I'll
Pam.
take what I can.
So I
Doctor.
you you recently started streaming, Pam, and
Mhm.
how was that transition from not owning a gaming PC to owning a gaming PC to streaming in like 2 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. It's been kind of a wild, I guess, month because I didn't really PC game at all until the end of February, and then I built my PC, and all of a sudden I was gaming pretty much every day. And then one of my good friends on a Discord server I'm on, she likes to stream quite a bit, so Sushi. Um, and then she kind of got me into it. Um, it's mostly just like kind of a fun way to express a thing that I have recently become interested in quarantine, and like it's nice being able to like track my progress because I do think I improved quite a bit since I started, but I'm already like afraid that I'm gonna hit that like peak and then just like plateau.
I
But
mean, it'll probably take a while. I've been playing video games for way too long, and I'm still got a lot to learn. So, especially if
I
you stick,
plateaued just now.
you're mostly just
I
playing
play-
Valorant, right? Or Pablo?
yeah, I play Valheim too quite a bit.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Minecraft that I've played forever, and chess and RuneScape. The point and click I'm very bad at these days. Like John asked me to play Risk of Rain, and I just can't like find anything on the map. I don't have the spatial awareness in my mind anymore, or just like being able to aim to shoot things.
Risk
I
of
love
Rain
those
is
like
a trip though. Like it hurts your eyes after you play for long enough.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
I definitely did start with Minecraft too. I think that was like my entry game into gaming period, but I mostly played on Xbox before the PC, and then I don't know. I already knew how to build a computer pretty much because my dad and I built my first one when I was pretty young. And it's
Wow.
also something that I just wanted to do for myself. So yeah, I just kind of one thing led to another. And then
So like
all
as
of a
you were
sudden,
building
yeah.
the computer, like the memories come back of your like dad training you to become the streaming master, like
Pretty
freaking like
much.
Aaron Yeager in the basement, like
Yeah, he's an IT too, so I was actually like on FaceTime with him for a lot of it because I was just like, what if I just fry this and then I have to start over? But
Oh, yeah.
obviously it turned out pretty okay.
This very computer that I'm on now, I got built because there was like some like German guy at the computer store who was like, just bring it back to my place, it'll help you. And I'm just like, I trust this man. I'm 14. And so I like went there like with my mom, and he helped me put the computer together, and he found out that like the cooler for my CPU was like too big, so he got me another one. And he was like, as payment, I'll just keep this. And I'm just like, that seems like a good deal to me. I don't know things.
Wait, he just kept your cooler?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess hopefully you didn't get ripped off too bad.
Well, I mean, it was like a $30 cooler or whatever, and he gave me the replacement that fit in the thing automatically. So I'm just like, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. Never heard of him again. Just random German guy, computer store in Oak Ridge. If you're listening to this, misconnection, man. Get me a job.
Give me a job.
Have either of you ever used Craigslist misconnections? Because I have not, but I want to know if I've ever met. I always used to like look on there, and people would be like, "For that guy who bought me a soda in the subway line, you're a real one. I need your phone number." And it's like, who?
I was never really super into misconnections, but I've like read the like big dramatic ones that somehow like part of the story winds up on like Humans of New York or something, and then pretty much it.
Oh yeah, like that one tweet where like there's like this like girl who's like, I went on a cruise and this person was my best friend. Please Twitter help me find them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, oh man,
I
that's
feel
so
like
wholesome.
If you're on a cruise, I feel like that's a lot of time for you to be like, "Hey, you want to be friends after this?" Like,
One of my friends from college married a guy that she met on a cruise. So
I heard a stat, and I don't have a source for this, but I heard a stat that 60% of the relationships that start on a cruise wind up in a marriage. So it's probably good odds if you actually meet someone.
a shared voyage experience is like an immediate bond.
Yeah. Also, getting blasted in the ocean. That's the
Yeah.
move. Sunburned, like I
Yeah.
am right now. It's a week old. Still going strong.
It's still pretty pink even on camera.
Yeah, this is a aggressive line right there.
Like you can spend some quality time together getting unstuck from the Suez Canal, you know, like holding the whole world economy still for like
It got unstuck on April 1st, and I feel like the ultimate joke would have just been some other boat to accidentally crash in the exact same spot. But
yes.
good thing it didn't. Our economy would not be able to sustain these losses.
Like it's just my anti-capitalist like bent that's just like, yeah, if enough ships get stuck in the canal, everyone can just go home. Like there's nothing to do. Like yeah, there's no work. Just go home. Like you get a snow day, but for the whole like production of goods and materials.
Man, I can't imagine what the captain of that ship is feeling though.
Oh,
Like-
look, let's be honest. He's not a captain anymore.
Oh yeah.
But he is the main character. He got that in return.
He's got protagonist, antagonist energy right here.
He did something that mattered.
I feel like this would be an interesting discussion. So Pam wants to build a rental home, correct? Like, how's that going for you at the moment, Pam? Are you?
Well, so originally in October, I was planning on buying some land in Breckenridge to build like a cabin on. And a lot of it would be like renting it out so I could have secondary income while I'm in while I'm getting my graduate degree. But just like with logistics, not even being more complicated in the mountains, like you have to factor in deforesting and getting a well put in, and whether or not like I was trying to have like a more eco-friendly build, so that also added upfront costs that like I just don't have right now.
Yeah.
So instead of doing that, I am saving up to get a house like closer to Denver and kind of do the similar thing where I would live in it for most of my time, and then when I move from Denver, I would probably either rent it out or sell it for a profit because it's Denver. The economy here for like housing here is fucking impossible. So
Yeah. I wanted to bring this up because Pablo's very anti-landlord.
Is this
I've
this
read
where
it-
you
yeah,
want me to
I've
fight
heard
with a
about it.
stranger?
Yeah, I think Pam's listened to
I
our previous
heard it.
podcast.
I listened to your podcast, so like yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, there's what more is there to say? Like we live in a society, Joker mode, and yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I definitely am not like I love the idea of being a landlord, but
girl boss.
especially being being a woman of
Gaslight.
color, like it I want to have a comfortable income by myself, not dependent on a company or another person, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
feel
like
the same.
playing the
the
game.
tenant.
Yeah.
But
I think there's a way to be an ethical landlord, but yeah, definitely like selling at least a portion of my soul to do that when the time comes.
I mean, I want to do the same thing at some point, Pam. So I don't share Pablo's feelings, but Pablo and I actually messaged Pablo earlier today, and we like discussed. So like back in 2020, like the first bailouts was like mortgage forbearance. You know, like you don't have to pay your mortgage if you can't pay, and then like so that means that like landlords also don't have to pay, like if you couldn't pay rent you can't be evicted, but landlords also don't have to pay their mortgage. So I think the problem with that is, and like now people are like housing's getting like bailed out again, and like values are at an all-time high and everything. Like I think the problem with that is like it makes sense to like mortgage forbearance if you're like living in the home, but I also I don't feel like I feel good about the fact that housing market's at an all-time high, and mortgage forbearance exists for people who have like 100 properties or 10 properties or like however many. Like, if you took a
We
risk,
live in a game of Monopoly.
well, yeah,
essentially.
if you took a risk that you couldn't accept, and it's not like, hey, I'm living here. I feel like that is not like I don't feel good about like bailing those people out.
I mean, well, tell that to Chase Bank. Like, this thing happened back in 2008 in the first financial crisis that racked our generation. It was just a bunch of like subsidized loans for people to get housing because we
Yeah.
don't we commodify housing,
Mhm.
and so the only way that people can get a place to live and build equity is to have these like mortgages given out, or the alternative, which is to decommodify housing, which we're never going to do. And so then people like get all these like subprime mortgages. They do some financial magic with mathematics to make them seem more secure than they are. They sell them to people to banks, and the banks are doing like partial reserve lending where they actually spend more money than they even have in the bank. They have like your little like retirement fund or whatever to buy up like the subprime mortgages. The subprime mortgages go under. The bank has to take over the home and then put it up for sale. And who has the capital to buy those homes that are cheap now that all the properties are going up and like the banks need to be bailed out with giant loans from the Bush and like Obama administrations. It's just a further consolidation of wealth and power in the hands of fewer and fewer people. And if you can get on that train, it's a good one to be on because the cops might be on your side.
Yeah, I would like to be on the train, but I don't know if now is the perfect time to buy a house. I mean, hindsight, maybe 2021, it might be like, oh man, should have got in at the beginning of 2021 or something. But
Well, yeah.
values
I
are
mean,
just very expensive right now.
yeah. I think there's also a pretty big difference between like small independent landlords versus like Greystar and Chase Bank and US Bank, and
Yeah,
I think
but
there's a way to do it in a ethical way, but I don't know. I'm not one yet. So,
yeah, I mean, I think that there's a way to do harm reduction. The thing is that I think that small landlords get eaten up
mhm.
um, easy because it's like insurance, right? If you have a pooled up set of resources, then a variance doesn't affect you so much. Like if you have like an empty room, that's going to be a much bigger deal if that's the only room you have versus if you're like building like these giant apartment complexes or whatever in the distance. Um, uh, my issue is overall with the incentive scheme. So any like individual person deciding to do it or not, it's more like if it's not you, it's going to be somebody else. And you're constructing a house, right?
Well, I was, but right now I'm probably going to be like remodeling one that already exists
Okay.
in
Well,
Denver.
I don't know anything about the Denver housing market. All I know
It's
is,
abysmal.
yeah,
Hardy, you're muted, I think.
we can't hear you. Oh no, technical
I think
difficulties.
it's a revenge for the time where you guys just didn't have Pablo speaking the entire time.
Yeah, my God, I love taking up airspace.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love capitalism, but I also want security. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I mean, any kind of system reform that people do is mostly so that I guess people do like one person's success doesn't have to come at like the expense of somebody else because people in Denver still need like a place to
Yeah,
live.
I think.
Uh,
Can you guys hear me now?
I had, yeah,
Okay.
I, that brought me back to like one of your episodes where you're talking about the homeless populations in large cities.
mhm.
And it's just the sheer amount of money that cities put into creating anti-homeless structures instead of actually helping the homeless is absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
sloped park benches that you can't sleep on and stuff.
and like spikes under bridges and
Or just
X,
like
Y, and Z.
paying the police for hours of their work, basically just harassing homeless people, shutting down like their camps and things like that, and shuffling them around.
Alex is cracking me up.
Sorry, I can't. I always like interrupt on this because I feel so strongly about it. But yeah. Continue.
Oh, that was it.
Oh,
Maybe we can talk about it more.
What
But
beverage do I spot there, Pam? Is that a LaCroix?
no,
Knock
it's
off
a
LaCroix?
juicy IPA.
Okay, so this is an alcohol-free podcast, Pam. I'm sorry we didn't warn you about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
switch to
family
water
friendly.
bottle.
We're trying to keep it light here with the talk about like the systemic poverty and homelessness and police abuses and
Yeah, I love
the
it.
funding for it. No, I think it's just a big thing just to make sure that no one is happy if they have less, like or to make sure that no one gets anything for free. That would mean that we're like decommodifying our resources, and it's like oh you need a place to live because like you're a human being, like wow, big whoop. Like they'd rather spend more money to make it terrible. It's like orphanages.
Well, yeah.
Like
Sorry, go ahead.
the design of orphanages is perfect, is purposefully terrible, because the people who were like creating it were saying that they didn't want the children of the destitute classes to enjoy privileges that the working people don't have. So they would just it makes things terrible for like the orphans, like in like Victorian times and things like that. I need to get like the source for that, but like conditions could be better. Yeah, but
I think a huge part of it is the demonization of the poor.
Yeah, I mean, there's like the Brock Turners of the world that seem to just get away with everything. And then when it comes to like poor people, they're the ones that are criminalized because it's like it's so easy to punish them because they don't have the resources to fund a billion lawyers.
And it is so expensive and costs so much money to be poor, and it's really infuriating to see just like people like be like, oh, they're just lazy, like why do they deserve a free handout? No, just like they work 3 times, 4 times as hard as you for nothing in return. They don't have the ability to invest in something that will last them long term. They have to spend more and more, like more money, like immediately replacing a good because they can't have that upfront capital to get something that's gonna last them longer.
Get those cash for check places, and they like charge you like a huge portion. I don't know the percentage, but it's a bad deal because you can't cash it for free.
Yeah.
I mean, I also think a big portion of it is like the infrastructure that we have for cars. We've made it impossible to hitchhike. Basically, it was like demonized somewhere around like the 1980s or whatever because of, I don't know, Reagan wanted everybody to have several empty seats in their car to buy more petroleum or whatever. And then they build like these like super mega highways with no shoulder really for people to like ride share or anything like that. And so really like the ticket, because they're building these neighborhoods that don't have like any sidewalks, there's no walkability to anything. You have to have a car in the suburbs. There's endless sprawl, these giant parking lots or whatever. And the cost of a car is what you need to be able to participate in the society. Like if you have like your mother who's working and then you're working and you only have one car in between, like you got to get up extra early, drive your mother to work, then drive to your job. And that was somebody like I talked to that was working over at the Copper Cellar, that he had to do that every single day, barely had an hour to himself because of sharing like this vehicle. It's basically like if you're poor, you're fucked. If your car breaks down, you're fucked. Like your whole future is gets tied to like the petroleum industry too, because if gas prices go up, like what are you gonna do? Not get gas? You know, like there's that little TikTok that was kind of funny about that.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm kind of pumped about Biden. He was like speaking earlier today. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I like saw some like a highlight. Like he wants to like rebuild the train industry, like from city to city and everything, which I think would
like
be really
Amtrak.
good. Yeah, but I don't know if it would be Amtrak specifically, but like his vision for upping our infrastructure is like a train system that could get from one side of the country to the other in the same time it would take to fly, which would be cheaper and better, probably easier sometimes too, because like I don't know, I'm in. Let's go for it.
I mean, I love the train system over in Boston. My only problem with it is that it costs money. Like, I really think that they should just like up the taxes on the Musks and Gates of the world and Bezoses, and then just make transit free. Why not? Like, because they end up spending, like, when people do the fare evasion, like in New York, they end up spending more on like the police who are there to like make sure people are paying than they get from the people who otherwise would do fare evasion paying. People who do anyways, like do anyways, like it's like a little punishment system.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't mind seeing that rolled into taxes, depending on like how it was handled. Like, where is it gonna get taxed from? Is it just like income taxes, or is it? I don't know. I don't want to get super into the weeds here, but like I think, I mean, it's a necessary good, so it kind of makes sense to be.
I mean, I'm a little bit of a Georgian about it. I think that if there's like land value taxation, then there's going to be less people that are holding land as like speculative properties. But also, if the value of the land goes up because public transportation was built next to it, basically none of the work of the person who like owns the property, then that land value gets taxed to pay for the improvement that raised its value in the first place. Because there's so many properties that are just like kept empty because people are not treating them as places to live. They're treating them as stocks, like something like a cryptocurrency to hold and let go of as its price goes up and down. And it's been going up and up since forever. That's why people are just like scrambling to buy houses now, even if they're like hitting like terrible deals for like fixer-uppers, like because it's housing, you know? Yeah. What are you gonna do? Not live somewhere?
Yeah. Well, it's also, I don't know, I feel like it's either like a really good time to get into housing or it's like the worst possible time to get into housing, but we won't know for like another 6 months. So
yeah, I mean, that's life in the United States.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. It stresses me.
I mean, the Federal Reserve having that little lever to like up and down the interest rates and basically control like the whole real estate market is like the whole like economy that the U.S. kind of like revolves around, that like American dream thing.
You said lever, Pablo. What you mean to say is money printer.
I mean,
the lever is on and the printer's on and off, you know?
Yeah. The money changes, but desire stays the same. Like, people want security, and that can be used to like get them to participate in the economy. At what cost, I'm not sure, because like our dependency is we make sure that people are, you know, happy enough that they don't turn to any like politically extreme ideologies, but that means that we have to have a constantly expanding economy to make more space over at the top of like the little pyramid scheme, and then just, you know, do our like little imperialism thing on the global south with like the lithium mines in like Bolivia or whatever, or like getting the cobalt from like the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and you know, like the real people who are doing the work that's you know. Anyway,
we'll move
where
on
was
to
I
a new
going with
topic.
this?
So, Pam,
Enter the Zeitgeist.
You guys have already talked about this one before.
We're very passionate about it. Pam, we also forget what we talked about.
Okay.
So we're moving on to new topics. Pam, you said you wanted to go to graduate school. Where, like, what is your major going to be? Have you looked at graduate school?
So I'm going to get an MBA. I haven't decided when or where. Sometimes I'm like, do I even want to do this? But other times I know that if I ever like decided to leave my current company and I wanted to have like to pursue a leadership position, especially like in tech, like that is a bonus. But yeah, it's a very boring second degree. It's not like any fun.
You'd be doing
additional
that alongside still working, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked briefly into getting an MBA as well, but I'm not sure exactly like what is involved of it. Like,
Yeah, you just need to take the GRE and then that essays, all that good stuff, and then in your actual degree, depending on how if you're going to be working at the same time, it can take anywhere from probably 3 to 4 years, unless you can cram all of that in. Um, I Part of me really wanted to do an NYU like accelerated like tech MBA, which was like a year-long program, but it's all in person. So it's I don't know. It's one of those things that is kind of like the housing one where I have plans for things, but with everything going on with COVID and moving, it was just kind of put on the back burner for now.
I feel like that's how most people think about like secondary school though. Like once you get out of college, you're like not likely to go back. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I kind of want to do that at some point, but I don't know if I ever will.
Yeah, I think so. I think most people definitely don't go back once you started working and making your own money. But I think that a lot of MBA programs really like it when people have actual work experience. So I don't know. It'll be on my grand list of things that need to get done before the end of the year. Study for the GRE and take it.
It'll be a little bit harder now that we're not stuck at home as well, Pam. 2020 would
Yeah.
have been the best year to start, but
I'm ready for hot girl summer, you know?
yeah.
Just studying.
Have you been doing any preparations for Hot Girl Summer? Hot Boy Summer has been in the preps.
Like the gym and stuff for
Yeah.
hot girl summer? Not specifically. I mean, I've been doing like at home workouts and stuff, but I'm mostly focusing on getting my orange belt in Krav Maga. So I have been working like solo in classes for that. So once my vaccine is in full effect and Debbie gets hers, like one of our friends who also works with us, then we can start training together again more comfortably, and then I can, finally graduate from a yellow belt. But that's like it's a lot of exercise. So
first belt is white belt, and then what's after that?
So yeah, first it's a white belt, then it's yellow, and then orange, and then I think green, blue, brown, and black. Yeah, so a lot of exercise. Accidentally lost like 20 pounds in quarantine, which is fun, I guess.
Yeah, that's the exact opposite of what happened to me, Pam. So
big social like drinker and snacker, so we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like
Plus,
living next to the fridge, I just want to eat all the time. So
yeah, like many women, had a lot of issues with food, but I've been going to therapy and stuff for it, which is really good. I think it's helped a lot with just in general happiness levels. So yeah.
Man, therapy is good. I had a therapist appointment yesterday. I finally got one. And it's nice because I get to have a very long political rant, and somebody is there being paid very good money to...
Are you telling me I should be getting paid for this?
No, I mean, I'm saying that this is just a continuation, because afterwards the therapist is like, I don't know if I can help with these like big picture 3-4 year things. It's more like the next 3-4 weeks. How can I help you with that? Like, oh, we got to find you like an outlet, for you to talk about like the political, environmental, economic despair, right?
This is it, Pablo. We're just gonna have to start talking every day. Anytime we start getting into
get my feelings out there.
Anytime we start,
maybe
we have to make a new series. It's not Enter the Zeitgeist anymore. It's Rants and
Pablo's Doomer Hour.
Or you can like pick like a maybe subset of the many topics I'm sure you want to tackle, and then like join an organization that benefits that subset of people.
Yes, I think after the pandemic, I want to get involved in the Centro Hispano that's here in Tennessee, and mostly just get more in public. When it comes to like the instrument, I think I'm just gonna get real messy with it with the punk thing, and try not to. Never mind. I'm not gonna try not to do anything. Anyway.
Not on the internet, he says.
Not on the internet.
On a recorded medium.
Yeah.
The amount of times that Pablo and I will just get into like very intense discussions for like an hour and a half, off the scale, can't count them in the year of 2020. So many times.
I have a lot to say. I've been learning a lot.
That's why I essentially asked to be a guest.
Yes. Well, Pam, it's great because we have a very large shortage of guests sometimes. We're still a new show. I'm sure we'll invite you on at some other time if you ever want to come on.
Sure. I'm not doing much right now. Except gaming and work.
Yeah, gaming, there's like the Krav Maga. Like you seem to like really like hands-on like competitive activities. Would you say you're a competitive person?
I guess so. I feel like I'm more like competitive with like myself and my own expectations for myself. Like I'm not gonna be the kind of competitive person to be like I'm intentionally trying to outdo this specific person. And I think.
Oh no, John's muted again. Continue. This just prevents him from interrupting. I mean, I'm the bigger problem, but.
I think it's always fun to be interested in something and then watch yourself kind of slowly improve or quickly improve.
Yes.
And I think that I am a person who enjoys structure, and that was kind of the thing with Krav Maga. Was like I had a class that I would go to, and I would hold myself accountable to going to that class, and I would make sure like that would be part of my stress relief and like getting exercise. And it's also something that I'm like a skill that I'm learning and is a practical skill to know. Like it makes me feel more safe like when I'm out by myself. And then gaming just kind of became its own thing because like with quarantine and COVID, obviously, so like virtual mediums were kind of the way for me to stay in my friends' lives. And my best friend back home, Peyton, she really liked this Discord server that she invited me to, and everyone was pretty much obsessed with gaming. So I kind of got my resolve to not have 8 hours of my day at work in front of a computer and then go back to the computer at home kind of melted away pretty quickly when there were just awesome people who wanted to just do the thing together. So
yeah, I think that's one of the benefits of Corona, honestly, because I'll be honest, in February of 2020, Pablo and I didn't talk that often. We were like friends from like a long time ago, and then we like reunited on like a friend of ours Discord. And here it is. I talk to Pablo almost every day now, so.
Yeah. We had like a virtual Passover too. It was an interesting.
Oh, that was
experience.
a great night that I also got extremely drunk at.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I love this idea that this kind of moment has made the internet less of a separate from reality thing. I mean, the whole tragedy that was the Trump administration and basically the horror that was memed into existence was a part of it, like the ever expanding consequences of Gamergate and all that like online Nazi activity. That makes it obvious that the online is real, but also that like this moment, these moments here, that it can actually land on people, the fact that the internet is able to pinch disparate places of space together and make the world a smaller place. I got like this book. Whoa. Hold on.
Show and tell with Pablo.
This guy, he talks, it's like interface culture, how technology transforms the way we create and communicate. This was written in like 1996. Like I was like born at this time. And this dude's like talking about like everything that's like going to happen because of hypertext. Like he's so pumped about hypertext, but like so much of it has been completely unrealized because we're mostly using the internet to dick around, like, or we just don't. We're just continuing regular life pre-internet, but we've moved it onto this as a platform.
What are some other things?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Pam.
I was going to say that I think, especially prior to COVID, I think internet, at least in my life, that I noticed was it was mostly used as a way to brag about things that were happening in your actual life, whether or not that was a true image of what was happening in your life at the time. But like you see like all these influencers and like famous like TikTokers and all that, and they just kind of broadcast this completely unrealistic view of their life, and they still do that. But like with COVID, like they couldn't go on their extravagant vacations and pretend that that was their real life. Like I think that it kind of made people at least a little bit more real. But I think, at least in my own personal life, like I was the friend who said peace out to the hometown and left first, pretty much. And everyone is always busy with their own lives. So it was pretty easy to be kind of not necessarily like dropped off the face of the earth or something, but just like it's more effort to talk to somebody, it feels like, virtually, and set a time and be like, let's FaceTime at this time, because I have my own calendar and they have their own calendar. But I think one of the greatest things that came from COVID was that there was also a dependency on my friends who were still back home to also use those same tools virtually to communicate. Like I had to do that already to communicate with my friends and family back home, but they were, it was a more like even like playing like field, you know?
Because now in order to talk to you, in order to talk to their other friends, they also have to be on Discord or something, and then you're already on Discord. I also think that's the strength of a platform like Discord. Like if you have like an active server with people in there pretty frequently, like you don't necessarily have to like set up a time. You just join in, and you're like, hey, there's 3 people I know. And my friend Alex in the chat says he quit Facebook 3 years ago, and he doesn't feel like he's missing out. I've been debating quitting Facebook. I don't really use it for anything.
I use it. I know how to use it. I know how to use Facebook. You use it to follow your locally politically active boomers. If you're talking, if you're trying to understand what's happening, like in the geographic area, you can go to like these various pages where it's like there's like some crime watch group where it's like full of just like bootlickers who are like racist and shit. But then there's like another like group that you could join like that's about people who like care about masks and things like that. And it's just like. It's for neighborhood things with older people. If you want to know like what's going on in their heads, they have so much free time to vote and things like that that you just kind of have to know what they're up to.
I think there are tiers of like damaging social media and beneficial social media. I think Discord is like one of the more beneficial ones, where you're joining a server, you all are interested potentially in a similar subject, and it's just like a community meeting where people can just geek out about what they like. Facebook has like groups where that's like a pretty similar concept. I think definitely the more toxic ones are going to be like your Instagram and Twitter, where it's all just about you posting something and somebody else consuming it, and you consuming other people's posts too. There's less of a community structure.
Yeah, that's why I actually think I like TikTok a lot, because I think people react on there people are really want to like respond to things that people have made on TikTok in a way that they don't care about doing on Instagram. Because
like they do.
Like Instagram doesn't let you do that. Like and Twitter's all about response, but people just get into arguments on there. So
Twitter, entertaining but incredibly infuriating.
Oh yeah. I recently I posted something critical about Elon Musk on one of his tweets, and I just had like 50 like very strange nerds jump down my throat, basically going like, you don't know what net worth is. I bet you're the dumbest person on the planet. Like, how much have you donated to so and so or whatever? And I'm just like, yo, listen, no, I'm just saying that, like, you know, if he gives a little bit of his money away, it's not quite the same as, you know, being taxed at the same rate as everyone else. I mean, he gets to write that off on his taxes too. You know, like if any sort of like anyway.
That's fair, Pablo.
Twitter's a hellhole.
I also don't think criticizing people for giving to charity is a good move. Like, At least they gave it charity.
No, I mean the thing is that you can give like a piece of artwork to charity that has appreciated in value because you purchased it as a commodity, and then you get to write that off on your taxes and then not be able to pay taxes for like 5 years. Like the thing is that people need to be critical of the tax and charity structure because it's usually used just to like not pay taxes. And saying the truth, like on the surface level, can appear bad to people, but these are just people that would just like worship Elon Musk anyway. He seems to have some weird cult of personality on Twitter anyhow. And I just like kicking the hornet's nest. What can I say?
Dogecoin's going up, boys.
The whole rounding up your transaction at any store for donation, like that just is another way for those corporations to make a donation, say that they're making a donation. It's actually your money going to that donation, and they're getting.
Because I don't know what I'm like donating to normally, so I'm just like, nah, like.
Yeah, I mean, like they kind of, in a way, like make people feel bad for not donating, and then, but you, like the average person is just like, oh, this is a good thing that I'm doing. That's convenient. That's happening right in front of me. I just need to like press this donate $3 thing, but in the actual like long run, that's just a corporation donating stuff with your money. Then they're getting their own tax write-offs for it. So
I did not know this underbelly. Yeah. Thank you for enlightening me.
Yeah, like a lot of charities are also just kind of like lobbying fronts too. Like they could also be positions where like not a whole lot of the money actually goes to helping people, but a lot of it goes to like the administration of the services of people there, and it's just like a very fun way to move money to like friends and family. And people use charity as like the big solution to the problem of profit motive. Like, oh, if you don't like that housing is commodified or whatever, just become the best capitalist and then use your money to buy other people homes. But ultimately, it's kind of like a not functional band-aid solution because profit motive then like it grows to dominate that space too. Like it's not the charities that spend all their money who last. It's the ones that make it like a priority to find creative ways to guilt other people with like commercials with like puppies or whatever and Sarah McLachlan.
Did you like?
And I think.
Go ahead.
I need the space to be a hater, and also, this is a big design problem with Instagram. My plug came out of this. It's not easy enough to start a flame war with someone on Instagram. Like if someone like posts like a picture of themselves and they're just like without like the mask with a group of friends, and it's like, I don't care about masking, do you? Like it should be easier for you to be like, hey, you're a dick, and because on Facebook, like if your shit gets like a lot of comments, it moves all the way up, and then the person gets like a little notification of your message and things like that. But on Instagram, they made it, and I think that this is intentional. They made it so that you can't quite follow long threads, so everything peters out. I'd never seen a long argument on Instagram.
I think comments on Instagram are really just supposed to be like, wow, you're fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, so hot. Love the photo.
Yeah. And then you gotta ask your homies to come to say that you're smoking on your post. You gotta be explicit.
Again, a few Instagram arguments during the Black Lives Matter protests this summer. So
yes.
You can have an extended argument on there if you really try.
How was navigating the system there? You gotta like reply all or my goodness.
Reply to comments basically, and it's just an increasing chain of comments, but it's not like organized in a similar way that Facebook is, where it nests neatly under the reply and comment. Like it does that for the original comment, but if someone comments and then somebody comments to that comment, it doesn't like neatly show that. So
did you go to any protests this summer, Pam?
I did.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I went to one. It was pretty cool. And then I was like, I gotta get out of here before the curfew begins because I do not want to be involved. Because people were like showing up with trash can lids, and I was like, whew, I don't want to get hurt. But that was
it's time to fight some cops. Do a
mostly
haka. Be ready to die. Come on.
Looks like I need to take some Krav Maga classes. I don't know. I actually have been thinking about doing a martial art. I was thinking about doing jiu-jitsu back when I was in Atlanta, and I did a trial week, and some like 130-pound black belt. He took me down in like seconds. For context,
Yeah.
I'm 190 pounds.
Krav is pretty hard. It's like the love child of the major
Yeah.
martial arts, but fighting dirty. So it's not really a martial art. That's why it's called a self-defense style instead of martial art.
Yeah, you gotta gouge their eyes out. You know, it's like
Eyes, neck,
Have you done
balls.
any of like those exercises where you like someone's got a fake knife or like a fake gun, and you're like, how do I avoid that?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. So basically, like class structure, like if you take an hour-long class, like the first 10 minutes are warm-up. The next 20 minutes are going to be like a striking technique, where it's a lot of like drills and high intensity interval training kind of stuff. The next like 20 minutes ish after that are going to be like learning a scenario. So like the other day I did a class where we were learning how to do ground defenses that use an armbar, like in all the mixed martial arts like fights and all that.
Yeah.
And then prior to COVID, it would be like the last 10 minutes would be basically like a stress like test or scenario. So like usually you have like the same partner from the beginning to the end of class, but in your last like 10 minutes, they'll do things like turn off the lights, like randomize partners, like make you close your eyes and then like get attacked from any direction. There are also like additional classes where you would wear like your actual like everyday like clothes instead of like workout gear. So like women, like I would wear like my heels that I would wear to work, I would wear to class to kind of learn how to maneuver when I'm not wearing like sneakers and leggings and all that. So
Yeah, that was one of the things that was weird about when I tried jujitsu, because normally you would work out in a gi, and like the gi is like a perfect place to like grab onto someone and just like throw them, because it's like a handle. But then they have like no gi classes where you don't have the gi, like, so it's like you're wearing like skin tight clothing, and it's way harder to get like a good grip on a shirt, or like their pants than it is like their belt that they specifically are wearing to be easy to grab.
What I've yet to see is people do it like old-fashioned Olympian Greek style, just like you're
naked?
butt naked, covered in olive
That's
oil.
sounds like a lawsuit.
Come
Pablo.
tackle me.
I bet you could sell the lifestyle to someone, Pablo. So let's start a gym. But
Yeah.
the
nudist,
None of that.
self-defense classes.
Yeah, none of that homophobic stuff. Here we're just straight going for it, you know. It's gonna be self-defense. It's not martial art either. Like
gotta be- we
if
gotta be right
something's
next to an
dangling in
olive oil
front of you, you
store.
bite that. You go
right next to an olive oil store.
What is it? Demonetized is what we are now.
We didn't have monetary value.
Oh my goodness. That's great though. I mean, I wouldn't attend, like I wouldn't join your gym, but I would support you guys from afar.
She'd
Yeah,
say
yeah.
nice gym on Instagram. And
We ask for financial donations. We have an OnlyFans, right? Like,
Slow-mo videos of people fighting.
yeah, you want to watch two guys wrestle in olive oil butt naked? Like and subscribe. What can I say?
Motion.
Yeah,
We're the next-
people gotta pay the bills.
we're the next MMA. We're opening
Yeah.
the olive oil association.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You should
but
definitely try.
I actually want to.
Any-
If I were to do jujitsu, though, I think I would want to do like the no gi only, because I feel like that's more functional. Because
Yeah. I mean, you should do Krav Maga if you want functional.
yeah, I don't know. I want to get like really good at like ground wrestling, and I think that jujitsu is probably the best for that. Because Krav Maga just
Learn jiu-jitsu and
Krav Maga has
too.
jujitsu in it, right? But like it doesn't. It focuses on a lot of things. I don't know. Maybe I should do Krav Maga. Maybe I'm
mean, if you just want for sheer practicality, then I would say Krav Maga. But if you wanted to learn specifically groundwork, then go for Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, and then the next plan is to learn kickboxing, Muay Thai, and then I'll be a weapon.
I'd like Krav Maga. I see so many of like these Twitter videos where there's just like this person like being like a racist, like terrible, like harassing, like punching poor, like old Asian women, and just like, you know, like it being the worst. And then some guy comes out of nowhere and he's just like the guy with like the twisted T, just like smacks him in the freaking face, and they're just like, I don't know what just came over me. I don't want to be racist anymore. I don't know. And it just makes me think like, you know what? I want to be the change I want to see in the world, you know, like
Up who are being racist. I love that for you.
yeah, I mean, it gets me pumped. Like if I watch like one of those like Twitter videos with like the blonde lady in the gray shirt like beating up like this other person for being racist towards Haitians, I'm like, that gets my blood pumping. I'm gonna go do some pull-ups. I gotta be ready in case like some of those like fucking like redneck like jock frat assholes from like outside decide to pull another one of those things that happened 2 years ago. One of the people at the Pride Center at UT got like assaulted on like 17th Street by just like some fucking like frat like assholes who jumped out of the car and just attacked him because, you know, he's not, you know, being a guy enough for them or whatever. Yeah. And it's like, it's fucked up. I don't really know if it's much self-defense. It's more just like,
I mean, at that point, it's just attacking.
yeah, you know, it's just like preemptive.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
I mean, my favorite part about Krav is that they do take into account, like, they add the stress test part of it. I mean, it's obviously not going to be a real life situation. But, like, most of the time I would partner with somebody, like another woman in the class who's, like, around my height and weight. But that ending of the class, like, it forces me to have to do the same defense against someone who's like 6'3" and like 250 pounds. Like, it's hard. The exam was brutal for even just getting my yellow belt, but I definitely like it made me feel more comfortable like walking around in the world as a single short woman. So
yes. I never realized like I mean, I guess like I have realized a bit of it, but there's like additional levels of realization when it comes to just like being a man in the world occupying space. That was like when I was talking about how I rode my bike downtown like pre-pandemic to like hang with some friends at a bar and then ride my bike all the way back. And then I get like stopped by like police officers who were like, "Oh, you match like the description of guy on a bike or whatever." I was saying this to my sister, and she's like, "Why are you on your bike at night, like just out there, like for the police to stop you?" And then she thought about it for a minute, and she's like, "Oh yeah, wait, you're a guy. You know, it's like no one's gonna freaking assault me or like whistle at me or something."
I think the big one that a lot of my male friends didn't really think about until I mentioned it was living on the first floor of an apartment building. Like, a lot of women, from who I've met anyway, don't feel comfortable living on the first floor of apartment buildings because you're just in such a vulnerable position. Even if like you have a super secure building or whatever, like people have the ability to just look into your apartment and you not even really realize it, and they have a way to get in. So yeah, one of the knowledge drops I've given to some male friends in the past.
I live on the first floor, but I leave my blinds closed at all times, and I'm like very like, I don't want these people to look at me and make eye contact with me. I feel a little bit weird. The people who live in our building, Pam, they live like on the way for me to walk to the, so it's faster for me to walk outside the building to get to the garage than through the building. So I always walk outside, but they leave their blinds open all the way every day, and I feel like I make eye contact with them at least like 2 times a month or something. And I'm like, why are your blinds open all the way? Like, but I guess
they probably have plants. I have some plants I'm growing by like I got this little guy. I got more of them sprouting. I have like 4 more of these trying to get roots or whatever.
Propagating.
Oh yes, we talked about this when Pablo was muted. So
yeah, and I'm on like the first floor. I have like my lights on. I have the blinds open. I'm the naked neighbor. Everyone has to have one, and I just believe in myself and just gotta provide some consequences to anyone peeking through windows. They're gonna get a view of me making espadrilles out of rope. It's not gonna be satisfying for them. I'd be hunched over.
I'm sure
with,
someone's
like,
into it.
the curls of my stomach. OnlyFans. All I'm saying. Like and subscribe.
The entire espadrille section of the last podcast was wiped from existence. This is
Oh my god.
this is a tragedy.
Well,
Well,
I
we
just
can
wanted
do
to.
it right now.
Let's do it because I'm going to talk about the espadrilles.
we're
I
gonna-
want to make an ethical shoe. When I really think about it, like, is this shoe really
I'll
ethical?
present.
Like, it has like this plastic shit. It's gonna wear out eventually. I hate replacing my shoes because I feel like that they should be semi-permanent structures in my life or whatever. If they're going to occupy a landfill for the rest of eternity, so. My thought is like, how can you get like an ethical shoe? At least one that composts, right? And so I think, oh yeah, you can make like the little espadrille design for like the Spanish like shoes that were made out of like rope. I figured out the weaving pattern. Like I got a little bit obsessed with it, watching like YouTube videos, trying to come up with like designs for a machine to automate the braids. If I could get like a freaking 3D printer to be able to make the little gears for it. But yeah, it's like out of jute. At least that would compost. But then when it comes to like the jute, where does that come from? It all comes from like Bangladesh, South China, or whatever. Gets on like the Ever Given and over the Suez Canal up to Europe or whatever to the United States to get that this essentially from the jute plant. I'm like, can you grow the jute plant here? No, only grows in tropical climates. What grows here? Hemp fiber. And the only people who are making like espadrilles are like 100% plant fiber out of hemp is Prada for like $500. And I was like, you know, if I could just figure out how to make one shoe, I don't know. Maybe there's some like a rich person that can sell them the single ethical shoe that you could find, because it's like because if it's made locally, you don't have to ship it all over the place and have all the petroleum. It could be carbon negative. You're growing a plant. It's going into the dirt and it's feeding the worms. I don't know enough about landfills. It's having
I
a
think,
real.
Gwyneth Paltrow will probably be into PZ Air 2s.
Yeah.
That was great, Chris.
Wait, hold on. I gotta watch
Pabri.
John stream. Yeah, he's showing the shoes. These are good shoes, you know, but they're made out of jute, and so I just want.
Oh no!
Oh, he was like,
His internet connection's made out of jute. We're gonna go and show what the jute plant looks like, because I think this is an important. Gosh, it's Discord and.
all right, audio medium. A jute
Oh my
plant
gosh.
looks
Yes.
kind of
It looks-
almost a little bit like a bamboo plant.
Oh, Pam, what a great
Yes.
podcast guest you are for doing this for us.
Yeah, sorry. This has been just like my latest hyperfixation that never leaves my mind, and it haunts me in my dreams. And anytime I'm doing math homework, it's just playing in the background, along with that Indian edition of Sunlight Moonlight by. You know the thing I'm talking about?
So Chris, another suggestion, he just suggested to make shoes out of plastic water bottles and fishing line. So I agree with this, but I feel like plastic water bottle shoes can't be very comfortable. Like,
Yeah.
those sharp edges.
Well, they're able to make like fabric from recycled plastic bottles now.
I just think like recycling is a bit of a farce. Like it's still kind of like we're justifying like the petroleum industry, consuming more of like these disposable things,
Right.
and then they just end
Get
up in the
yourself a
ocean
pair
as
of those.
microplastics anyhow from the fast fashion and stuff like. I mean, yeah, you can make shoes like that, but they're
Just
not.
for funsies, can we put in jandals?
yeah,
Jean
Jandals.
sandals?
jandals. I need to get some
Tiptoeing in my
jandals.
jandals?
I mean, I guess that would be an ethical shoe.
No, it's jean sandals.
Wait, where are they? They're not showing up.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you have to put in jean sandals. I have a friend who's in New Zealand, and that's what they say jandals are.
Oh,
But when I think
Oh,
of
no.
jandals, this is what I think of.
I love it.
Oh my god.
Look, I have been wearing the same shoe style for 8 years now. I'm addicted.
I'm a
Adidas.
big
Hot
fan
girl
of the
summer is all I'm gonna
Birkenstock.
say.
It's the Adidas Sambas, and then now they don't make Sambas in cool colors, so it's the Adidas Gazelles, which are just the same thing as Sambas, but without the aggressive texturing.
I would say that we should switch images. I do not want to attract any Quentin Tarantino types. Some.
Whoa.
Uh,
I want some Quentin Tarantinos in our stream.
what was the other guy? The dude from iCarly, the Dan Schneider. Whole lot of stuff comes out about that guy. I don't know much of it because I just know from like TikToks of people being like, look at all these Dan Schneider edits. It's just all like the weird things that people would do with like feet and iCarly. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, who lets these people be in charge? But it's like Hollywood. Like,
I think my favorite like iCarly like I don't want to say blooper because it's not that, but like I guess hidden Easter egg was when Gibby was reading 50 Shades of Beige instead
Ooh.
of 50 Shades of Grey.
ooh.
I forgot. I really liked the Crazy Steve, her brother character, because I know him from Crazy Steve and Drake and Josh, but he was probably he's my favorite character in that show for sure.
I really like the Fred episode where they just like start feuding with Fred.
Wasn't Fred like a real person? Like wasn't he a real,
Yeah.
real YouTube channel?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, it's
He was a
Fred.
big phenomenon in like 2007.
Back when the internet was new and young and fun.
Okay, and the internet
Yeah.
wasn't that new in 2007.
Well, back when like YouTube was
Back
new
when
and-
YouTube, yeah,
new and
was
young
pretty
and
new.
fun.
And God, was he the worst. But like that episode was basically like Fred starting a feud with iCarly, and then it's like, yeah, it's actually driving both of our traffic up. The fact that we're arguing, people want to see us fight. So
This is how
it's great
a
for ratings.
dynasty of YouTube channels that are currently run. We just need to get in an argument with someone, Pablo.
Look,
let's find an enemy.
I'll
I'm
find an
sure-
enemy.
Yeah. Pablo's coming out here with this attacker Krav Maga energy. I think you guys will find someone real
Pablo,
fast.
Find someone that we hate and invite them to talk about an issue on our podcast.
Yeah, let's just platform a racist. Go and like
Do it, and then
give
we can
them a place.
systematically destroy them.
Yeah. I mean, like that's mostly my problem with the fact of trying to like make content about the people I disagree with. My issue is mostly with like the worst of the elements of society. Like when it
The next time you get into a Facebook argument, invite your primary aggressor to just be on our show. Let's go.
yeah, like
this will be
debate me on
a very
Discord.
charged.
I would definitely also watch you guys like totally like live stream watching you guys do like a Facebook argument or something.
Hell
Like I
yeah.
would.
Oh, like
No, I would
Pablo's,
stream it.
like we
Yeah.
were discussing the Facebook argument, and Pablo's like posting.
All right. This is what we do. I stream me on Facebook. I go and find arguments to start, right? I multiple tab it because they don't always reply on time. I don't want dead air, right? I go and start like 5 different arguments. And I just try to speed run getting them to like stop replying to me. Like
You
see
just
how
like
many
rotate.
yeah. No, I mean, there's people who do this professionally at like Russian troll farms or whatever, and so like their job is just to like open up 20 tabs and waste as many people's time as they possibly can. Sock puppet
True.
multiple accounts just to get people to think that life is hopeless and the world is full of idiots. And it's really easy to do that. A lot harder to
They're-
give.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
sorry.
scary people. I get in like one Facebook argument a year and it just exhausts me for like the 6 months to follow it. But
Yep.
more power to you. Watch you do it. I just don't want to participate.
I got over Facebook arguing back in like very early high school because I was just like, no reason to do this. And also, I would never Facebook argue with a stranger for sure. I would get into Facebook arguments with like people I knew.
I just
It
like
makes it worse.
I like fishing for things because I have a very creative name, right? I got like the Pablo Manuel Reboredo Segovia types thing I have the whole thing written out. And the game that I play is I try to see if I can get them mad enough to say something xenophobic, and so then I just screenshot it and it's just like it's just fucking put them on blast. Like, it's entertaining for me, um, because it's really easy, like in some groups, um, but I think like the other part is like you get to like figure out like how is it like other people are thinking, and I concern myself a lot with how other people think because I'm just trying to think of stuff in terms of like big political systems, and the ideology really pops out when you're trying to bring like the contentions there. I haven't gotten like in a Facebook argument since I guess like the first month of the pandemic, in which really I was just arguing with some like completely conspiracist like boomer, just trying to like be like, how could you possibly think that all the scientists are wrong? How could you think that you know more about science than like epidemiologists or people doing like it gets to the point where they thought that they were better at math than me, and I've just been studying it for like 5 years or whatever, um, and
Yeah,
the
I think
familiarity you get with insanity is great because you realize these people are just narcissists, really, is what
yeah.
it goes down to.
Well, they're just also unwilling to learn.
Yeah.
I think definitely the peak of my internet fighting this year was during the Black Lives Matter like protests this summer.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was just with people that like I knew slash was like decently cool with. And it just like was very sad to see like the exceptions they would make for me as their brown friend versus X, Y, and Z person of color who they didn't know. And it's just like, so you were never actually my friend then.
Yeah.
Like
It's like
in
the
a way
good
that was
ones thing.
meaningful. Hmm.
Be like,
Yeah,
Like the
Pablo,
whole
you're one
model
of the good
minority
ones.
thing, too.
well, everybody likes to say that they have like a minority friend, so that like in case they ever get like cornered, they're like, well, actually, my sister's brother's adopted son is his dog is black, and like
Yeah.
I can't be racist because of that. I remember one time, I was arguing on the page of like one of the like presidents of the college Republicans. I made it a thing to harass him every once in a while. And there was like a person on there who was trying to be like racism isn't real, blah 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 or whatever. And at the end of the argument, uh, 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 they just like post a picture. It's like, by the way, this is my adopted black son, and I'm like, could you like tell on yourself any more than that? I feel sorry for if they ever come home with like a problem and they're just like, I think someone has a bias against me. It's like, no, it didn't happen. I'm gonna gaslight
Yeah.
you. Fucking
I'm half Filipino and half Colombian, so I guess I check multiple boxes. I
Mhm.
think what's kind of annoying about the spheres that I have seen that argument with is that I think a lot of Asian people, not like my friends that I know, but like especially the older generation, really bought into the model minority myth, on my Filipino side. And then on the Colombian side, or like a lot of the Hispanic side, a lot of people just kind of ignore whether or not they're white passing. And like my dad, for example, he's Colombian, but he's white passing. And it took him a pretty long time to recognize that even though he's an immigrant and he's Hispanic and he has an accent, people view him differently just because people don't automatically assume things about him based on what he looks like. He is a white man. And I think my dad always kind of knew that a little bit, but like my parents went through like a really, I think in my opinion, a pretty dramatic liberal awakening when I graduated college. So it's great that I don't have to have that argument with them, but it's wild to me. I hate it so much when I see like I'm Hispanic and I don't believe that racism is real, and I'm just like,
Ah,
well, people don't automatically assume that you're Hispanic because you look white. If you're, and yeah, that's a valid experience too. Like it a lot of, especially in the United States, a lot of your culture can be erased just based on what you look like, and that's totally a valid thing as well. But in the context of systemic racism, passing as white is a huge benefit. And it's important to recognize that. Kind of like how like I'm a woman of color, but I also grew up in a pretty wealthy area. And that means that I never had to struggle in the same way that many other women who look like me do. I was able to go to college. I was able to get an education and not put my parents through a crazy amount of debt for it. So, I don't know. It's annoying to me when people don't recognize their own privileges, and then just go into an argument pretending that they know everything because they fit this one checkbox and suddenly they just know everything. Like, oh, I grew up in a poor neighborhood, so police were always in my area and they were never saying anything to me. I'm just like, well, why do you think that is?
I mean, yeah, it's just the assumption that their experience is the universal one. It's like, oh, there's a little bit of subjectivity involved here. Whoop, my things got unplugged again. And I'm a white Latino, so I get to, I mean, I guess like everybody else gets to, except for, you know, like white non-Latinos, hate on white Latinos for a little minute here. Like there's like always like this sort of like playing up, I believe, of the whole I'm like caught in between two worlds. Nobody knows how Spanish I am. Like my family's overseas and things like that. Meanwhile, like Afro Latinos exist and like people who face like all like the colorist violence at the hands of people. I mean, my family's Argentine, so we're pretty much like the stereotyped what is it, like narcissistic Nazi-esque Nazi adjacent.
Very European.
Yeah. And then like on the other side of things, like I had like this upbringing where I was exposed to like the ideology of 4chan too early in my life. I think that's part of the reason why I'm in therapy. And then you see like the threads on there. And so a big meme argument is Argentina white? Like that they would have like all the time because, you know, it's like a little like Nazi adjacent like little shithole where they have like the worst conversations in the world, and so like the consensus pretty much among the racists is that Argentines sure wish they were, and so it's almost like a funny joke like when people are talking about like the whiteness of Argentina, because we have like a lot of like indigenous people who are of course oppressed in the country. And then like there's like this a line that's like, oh, everyone from like Argentina is like some kind of like racist Nazi or whatever because they allowed like Germans into the country. Meanwhile, we had like Operation Paperclip, and we also had like a lot of Nazis join our police forces, but like nobody goes, oh, all the Americans are Nazis. Where am I going with this? Yeah, white Hispanics get off the hook way too fucking easy. You got like Angelina Jolie or whatever getting like casted in all these parts as like a white woman, and people go, oh, well, this is just like your race.
Well, I mean, I didn't even know Angelina Jolie was not white, so.
Well, yeah, and so the thing is that you just she's getting casted in roles, like period.
Yeah.
But I do like to have like a little like census that I take every once in a while. Like I ask people, hey, do you think I'm white? Like my friend Carrie thinks no. Hardy, you think no, right? That's what you voted on?
Yeah, I don't think you're white, but I mean, you basically are.
Yeah, and my ex-girlfriend, she was like 2 years ago. Like, I mean, she thinks that I am white. If I think that's like,
I wouldn't say you're white. You're just you're very American is the difference. Even though you were not born in America.
I think you're white, but I think your ethnicity is Hispanic, which people tend to be like Hispanics are all brown people and lump all Hispanics into the same category, but race and ethnicity are different. And people always seem to forget that. And a lot of the times on like census forms and stuff, it's either like non-white Hispanic or Hispanic. Just like there are also white Hispanics.
Yeah.
There are actually a lot of them.
Yeah, I just put Hispanic on the forum because I guess like I can't say I'm not Hispanic. But I took like a race and ethnicity class over at college, and of course like you know, I would have to like learn about myself there. And so like the language associated around whiteness, like there's like the levels to it are white adjacent, and then and white adjacency is usually that you are white as far as like people who don't know you are concerned, but like if you are in proximity to people within like a workplace or something like that, what happens is your whiteness, it can be accepted, but it can be under question.
Yeah.
And that's probably like the worst it gets. Like a police officer is probably not going to oppress you, or uh, uh, you're not going to be followed around a store.
As far as the workplace goes, it's mostly like your room for error, I feel like. Like, I think, I think for me, it's a little bit different because I am in a predominantly white male field.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I already have a dink on me for not being a man. But also being a person of color, I think I have less room for error than a lot of my peers. Like if I do something wrong, if I give someone the wrong information, then it's a direct reflect on my intelligence and my capability as a person. But I feel like if somebody else who's a white man made that same mistake, then it was just a mistake.
Yeah. The otherifying thing where like you're either a completely like impenetrable mysterious other, but also simultaneously like an easy categorizable like
Mhm.
Bentham like level categorization type thing that is nuts, and I think shows up like a lot in ways like with things like the personality type testing that like HR really loves doing, or just like the astrology thing,
Yeah.
where it's like people are waiting. It's like people are waiting for you to fit into a box that they have.
Well, that's just a natural, like, human mammalian thing to do is we just want to put things in categories because it makes us easier. It makes it easier for us to understand it. And I get it.
I definitely did that when I was
But
much younger, and then like when I went to college, it like opened my worldview a little bit, and then when I got into the workforce, my worldview is much more open even than in college. And I feel like
yeah.
you can't really put people in the boxes, but it's the younger you are, I feel like I greet people a lot more because I was just like, these people are like this.
Yeah, I mean, I can forgive ignorance, especially in young people, but I can't forgive with willful ignorance.
Yeah, and well, the real problem is if you're not willing to just accept that you're wrong, because if you're not willing to accept that you're wrong in any argument or that you made a mistake, then you're just willfully perpetuating a falsehood.
And that's kind of it's kind of my gripe with like cancel culture is that like
yeah, because you can change. Like people.
Yeah, I do think people are capable of change, and I think it makes sense for someone who's a repeat offender and refuses to learn from their past experiences. But I think I would be hard pressed to cancel somebody for like a thing that they said in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And if they never said anything like that again.
Well, honestly,
if it was something like fucking terrible, then there's a gray then that's different. But like
cancel JonTron. I feel like JonTron came back to the streaming game after he said that off the wall crazy. He's the guy from Game Grumps. He's like the dude from.
Pam's a recent
like,
gamer.
Aaron, he said like some. Well, I would love if the first thing that people learn about JonTron is not anything memey about him, but the fact that he went on a huge rant about how rich black people commit more crime than like poor white people, and he got on like this whole like eugenics thing, and afterwards he just sort of came back, and his apology was like this sort of like, I get that people were upset that I talked about politics on my thing. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to be like a cowardly little like Nazi, and I'm gonna make my little like coward Nazi content, and people are gonna laugh at it because they're gonna forget that, funny guy believes in some kind of like societal eugenics like type shit, like but yeah, I never think JonTron got appropriate consequences to his nonsense.
What I feel bad about is when you like, if it's like something like someone said something that's maybe not acceptable in 2021 or 2020, but we like dug back into like the annals of YouTube and we're like, it's 2011. this person said he didn't like this. Take him out.
Yeah.
Like, and like obviously since then they've changed their mind and they've made like maybe a new comment in the future, like, and they're like, hey, never mind, I support this. But we're just like, you said it one time, it's over for you. I feel like it's because I feel like 2011 was a very different time, or just any time back then. Like, sure, it's not cool, but I don't think, as long as they're like willing to, as long as they've changed, because
I mean,
people
yeah.
are
Were you
evolving.
the same? Are you the same person that you were in
No,
in
definitely
2011?
not.
I know I'm not. Like, I thought reverse racism was real in 2011. That was a long time ago, and I mean, now I'm embarrassed to admit that.
Wait, you
but
thought what was real? Can you repeat yourself?
reverse racism.
So
Like, I thought
racism
that
against
was
white
real.
people? Yeah, I don't really.
But
feel
like,
there's.
given the context of how I first started learning about that kind of stuff in like North Carolina with my predominantly white friends, like, I was fully willing to accept any, like, the exceptions that those kind of people made for me in their lives. Like, it didn't matter that they were talking about these other people in such a racist and shitty way because they were others. I was one of the good ones.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
when you're in high school, that's what you want. You want to just fit in more than anything else, right? But
it's like other people
yeah.
can't take a joke, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I could never say that now. Like, I would never fucking say that now.
yeah, like the thing like with like the racist like jokes like in high school where it's like about like border hopping and things like that, and like everything about just like, you know, hating on Mexicans or whatever. Like most of it, you're just like, ah ha ha, right? Like, cool. I gotta see you every day.
It's the exact
type
same
shit.
feeling that you feel when someone's like, masks don't work, and you're like, I'm just gonna go buy these things in Target. Leave me alone. Like,
I mean,
Yeah.
working customer service, you see the ugly underbelly like every day, mostly. There was this one time where a person who came by through the line, and she was deaf, and so she couldn't like communicate to me because I didn't know sign language, and so she basically got upset that one of her coupons wasn't working, and so she gave me the coupon to look at. I looked at the coupon, I underlined that it was expired, so you know, I was just like letting her know that her coupon's expired. She's deaf, but she's being a Karen. It's everyone's right. She was like, expired coupon. I'm like, yeah, this is everyone's moment, universal. And the guy behind her just like goes up to me, and is like, don't you ever wish that like these people would speak English, you know? And I'm just like, what the fuck? She's deaf. Like, if she spoke Spanish, this whole conversation would be easier. Have you not checked the name tag? Have you thought this shit said Paul? Like, what's going on here? Or just like, it's all these like, and this is how I know that I pass white is just like the shits people think that they can say to me, like out of fucking nowhere. Especially when it comes to like shit like if you go to like a frat party or whatever, like early like freshman or sophomore year, I would tell people my name and they would just be like, yeah, sure, you know, and then go about and like pretend that I'm just like fucking with them or whatever, and then go and like say it like their later like racist shit, and then you just be like, oh yeah, you know, we live in a society, don't we?
Pablo's having a Joker moment. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, in North Carolina, like when I would go to frat parties too, like there were times where I would go with my black friends and we would get turned away, and then I would go with my white friends and we'd be let in. Like, it's not something that I really thought about critically until later in my college career, but now I'm just like, oh God, if I could just punch them in the face right now.
Yeah,
But
it's like there's levels to like how people like hide the things that they think within like a detectable presence of people. Like there's like these like assholes that like, you know, of course they would say like the N-word all the time, except if there was an actual black person in the room, you know, like that kind of like cowardly shit.
reverse
espadrilles.
racism.
We're back.
Oh yeah, we were talking about reverse
Full circle.
racism. I think that white people should call racist white people like crackers more often. I feel like we should give that word more oomph, you know? If that can be like a little sound clip.
I don't like the idea of perpetuating another offensive word that people will be like, you can't say that. We should just call them racists. Come on.
No, but I'm just saying,
So
crackers
yeah.
is for the bad white people. You know, you're not a cracker because you're a good one, right? You know,
Yeah. So yeah,
The logic.
the thing is that when a group is oppressed, is a part of the oppressed group, like they don't have the power to be an ism back. So reverse racism is the idea that like brown people can be racist towards white people and people of color can be stereotypical towards white people, but there's no actual consequences in society from like a systemic standpoint to that hatred towards that oppressing group. So like, for example, if a person of color killed like a white child, it would be way easier to get that person the consequences that they deserve versus the other way around. On a more like day-to-day basis, like I can be stereotypical towards white people. I can say shitty things towards white people, but I can't be racist towards white people because I am not a white person. Does that make sense?
Wait, so can white people be racist towards white people?
So this is just a
Like, is it
definition
possible?
problem. Then Pablo.
I mean, I guess not.
I don't think so. I think
no.
So basically, what we need is
It's like
another
it's a matter of who has the position like of power in the society that you're in. So kind of like misogyny, like versus misandry. Like men can shit on women and have there be actual real life systemic consequences towards that. But women being like, I hate men, like it's a shitty thing to say, but like, are there actual real life consequences to that? Is there actual real power behind that phrase? Not really.
Yeah, it's like no one can go back in time and then do like a discriminatory like GI Bill on white people and do like a white flight but in reverse, and then like funding of schools based off of property taxes, and then go back and devalue like white people's properties, and then create environmental hazards in their neighborhoods, and just create a whole geographical hellscape for one specific group of people through decades of violence vis-a-vis real estate discrimination and redlining and all that. It doesn't quite, calling somebody like a cracker doesn't quite do it like that,
Yeah, I mean, I saw like a funny like TikTok the other day where it's like misandry isn't real, but if we work hard enough, maybe it can be.
We're approaching an hour and 30 minutes, and I still have work to do today, so I think we need to end the show soon.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, Pam. I want to follow up. We do need Gundam Wing IRL, Duncan. This is a move, and thank you for this knowledge about container ships, Chris.
I think Alex had a question.
Oh, Alex?
For me.
Yes, let Pam answer.
On a serious note, as an Asian American, have you experienced any more explicit racism since the pandemic? No, I haven't. Not me personally, and I think mostly because I'm pretty racially ambiguous. I think if I didn't tell people I was one way or another, I think it would be kind of like a wishy-washy situation for what they would kind of try to categorize me as. I have had some of my friends, though, who are more Asian looking than me tell me more stories about how they were treated poorly, especially in like grocery stores, or if they were customer service by customers, just being like, make sure you have your mask on with that like China virus or whatever. But I am fortunate enough that I also work from home. I don't really go out really ever. And I'm pretty racially ambiguous, so I could kind of pass as a blur of a lot of different things.
I've just started reading comments now. I was not looking at any of them.
Yeah, 2000s comedy is horrible for LGBTQ people as well.
Yeah, we're learning about the rich Spaniards getting carried up the hills of Medellin on chairs by indigenous Colombians to see the flowers today in Spanish. Okay. He thinks the Falklands rightfully belong to the UK as well.
And then
Wait,
most
what?
container ships are built to the maximum allowable size in the Panama Canal.
This is slander. These people are slandering me because of my use of the word cracker. I'm gonna tell you, I'm white passing, so I'm reclaiming that word. All right, no one gets to criticize me for that.
Yeah, Paulo, that's the problem. If we enable that word, you're gonna start getting called that.
What? Sure. Okay, I'll accept it. Like, I'm just not gonna do things that get me called a cracker, right?
You can't go to war with the commenters. They already gave you your next Espadrille brand name, which is either gonna be Peasies or Pabri.
Yeah.
It's definitely Peasies for sure.
I have a question. Do you speak Spanish?
I understand Spanish, but I don't speak it. Okay. I can if I were in a situation where I needed to, but growing up, it was like really hard to teach a kid like trilingual because my parents don't speak each other's languages. So I understand Spanish more though.
Okay. Because I thought that we could have like just a Spanish speakers only segment at the end of this. It'd be great for
it would just be
the culture.
A full 10-minute conversation about Hardy's mustache.
Yes.
Love it.
Es ridículo como se ve. Lo tiene que afeitar. Anyway.
How do you say mustache in Spanish?
Bigote.
Bigote. Brought a little bigote out, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think I probably need to get going. Thanks for coming on, Pam. Always welcome back. And then, Pam, hopefully this video reaches people. What is your newly founded Twitch channel that you would like to...
Sure. It's Pdevs. So Pdevs. I mostly play Valorant, but I'm probably going to start streaming Valheim soon. And then when the new Caves and Cliffs update comes out in Minecraft, I'll probably be streaming quite a bit of that.
We'll be playing Minecraft again when Caves and Cliffs comes out. So
I want to play Minecraft so bad.
I'll send you guys a picture of the treehouse I built in my last Minecraft world because I was pretty proud of it. It looks pretty good, I will say.
Okay, but for real, we need to start a server together because I will lose my life to this game.
Maybe we can make it.
Yeah, we can totally do that.
Into the Zeitgeist server, and
yes,
just transition our existing server to be for our good old listeners. You know.
Yeah.
I'm down. Yeah, I'll drop the picture of the custom tree in the Discord.
Oh, yes.
So you
and I'll put it on the stream. I'll share it.
You're gonna have none of those people who are like, you're not a real
Never mind.
gamer.
The way I'm streaming this is broken. We'll just link it.
Oh, you're not a real gamer for enjoying Minecraft? Is that the thing?
No, it's just like when it comes to like Twitch, like women's harassment. There's like in games usually it's like these like idiots who are going like trying to like gatekeep the hobby or whatever. But if you're building the Minecraft, the tree house, right? Then that is culture.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty used to that as a woman in tech. But I mean, even during like voice, I don't speak in voice chat if I'm playing with strangers in Valorant until I can like determine that they'll be okay.
So you can be like, wow, you just lost to me, losers. Haha. Like,
we have a Discord of women who play games. Like, I wonder if you could like have enough numbers to just become the majority of a lobby and then just make Miss Andrea thing in that place. You just like pick on the guy, just be like, you puny dicked little. I mean,
you have to be lucky.
In a way, we've kind of done that before because I have a pretty good group of women who also like play Valorant with me. But
you have to have a squad of women and you get lucky to have another woman on their team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Valorant does have a decent amount of female players, which is pretty nice. But the whole like gatekeeping for gaming is so irritating because anybody can, even if they want to, like build a custom PC, or if they don't want to. Like gaming is supposed to be like just a community creating kind of hobby, right?
It's easy to fall into like a tribe. You're like, oh, you're playing on Xbox? Wow, you're trash.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I did that back in my youth.
Oh, did your boyfriend like do this, like make you your PC or whatever? I'm just like, actually, no.
Oh,
my dad helped me learn when I was 2.
Bros, right?
And now I've carried on his lineage.
I built my first PC when I was 14, actually. But
Oh my god, my dad did that to me one time, but it was not with the PC and it was not with gaming. It's just like I do something and he's just like, "Well, I programmed that in Fortran back
in
in
Cobalt.
the day." Yeah, and it's just like, okay, boomer, okay, fine.
It was mostly because I have a pretty small hand, so I was able to like get into the actual
He was
case
like,
a bit
all right,
better
Cam,
than my dad.
my hands can't reach. You're gonna have to do this for me. Like,
I have small screwdriver capable
do you
hands
want to eat
for those
tonight?
motherboard screws. I got this. I accept contract work for screwing in motherboards. Can fit in there pretty nicely.
So after I build mine, I need
Or
to
building a PC anytime soon.
I need to get back in there
We gotta
and
get our side
screw in
hustles.
a screw for my SSD because I didn't have it at the time because my SSD didn't come with it. But I ordered one off Amazon and it's just been sitting in the packaging for like 5 weeks now because I just don't want to open my computer. So who
Shouts out
knows?
to the women.
Yeah,
of
I have to open up
2000s
my
Xbox
PC
Live.
soon because I wanted. Well, I don't need to. I just want to get like nicer lighting in there. But then
Look,
I'm just
yeah,
like, oh, that's so
you're an
much work.
RGB, You're an RGB girl.
I mean, I like having things match. That exists outside of
Oh yeah,
RGB gaming stuff
my
too.
freaking flower
that's cool.
guitar. It matches with my mouse pad.
I used to have a cool mouse pad, but I don't know where that is. Yes, the M.2 screw. It's the worst. They should come with them in the box. Now I have like 5 screws that I'll never use ever. Anyways, now it's time to actually end the show. Thanks for coming on, Pam. Pablo,
Yeah,
as
thanks
always,
for having
it's a
me.
pleasure. Audience, thanks for
Yes.
being very cool in the chat. I love you guys. Please come back.
Yeah, thanks for having. You guys are very entertaining commenters. I appreciate it.
And if you're watching this on any podcast app, this is also on YouTube. You might be missing out a little bit on the audio only version, but we're working on making it better for you. So we've come a long way from being an audio only podcast. All right, so good night, everyone, or good morning if this is recording. Bye.